people that never have any, direct contact with Dr. McClendon could really give us a fair opinion. But that's just what I wanted on the record that we talk about tonight, just a little bit more.
Any other comments along that line?
On the record that we talk about.
Please.
All right. The motion was that we approve the director's evaluation as we agreed in the workshop. Mr. Upton.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick point of order. We have to vote on Don's motion, which is whether or not we're going to vote.
I got you. All right.
Good question.
I guess that'll be a roll call too. All right. We're voting on whether we end discussion at this point.
Yes.
That's what we're saying. Thank you, Dr. Shipman. That's why you're the parliamentarian. All right. We're voting only on ending discussion. Mr. Upton.
No.
Mr. Weiss.
Yes.
Dr. Shipman.
Yes.
Mr. Ingram.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Ms. Freeman.
Yes.
Ms. Standridge.
No.
Ms. Cagle.
Yes.
And I.
Yes.
So we have.
Can you hear me?
We have ended discussion, and we're now going to vote on the motion. Yes, I can. Before we go. Ms. Cagle, you there?
Yes.
Okay, you that's all you needed, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes means you're voting on the instrument as we worked on in the workshop. Mr. Upton.
Explain again. Now, we done voted to vote. So now it's time to vote right? We voted on he asked for the question. We done voted on that. Now
we're voting on the
original motion.
Okay, no.
We're voting on Ms. Cagle's motion to accept the workshops and approved. All right, Mr. Upton.
No.
Mr. Weiss?
Yes.
Dr. Shootman?
Yes.
Mr. Ingram?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Freeman?
Yes.
Ms. Standridge?
No.
Ms. Cagle?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Vote passes 7-2.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like for Ms. Blair to enter into the record that I think that this practice is prejudicial since we don't believe that there are any or if one superintendent's evaluation in the state who is done this way. I also think that it is probably violates my civil rights to a degree because there's been a series of males to sit in this seat and they have never this has never been done to a superintendent at either. So if Ms. Blair, would you enter into the record that I believe that this has violated or may potentially violate my civil rights? Thank you.
All right, discussion employees background checks required by the state of Tennessee for the 2021 school year. Request to take from fund balance. Dr.
And I don't know if can you guys hear us now? It seems like our internet is unsteady.
I'm having trouble hearing John.
Yeah, John's the issue, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
So this particular the item that we're bringing before the board in 2018, the Tennessee Department of Education passed a state law that all employees that work around children should have a background check every 5 years. Our fiscal position as a district was a little bit more meek in February of 2019. and we had not come into compliance with this particular law. I brought before the board the discussion, and they made a motion because of our financial situation that employees would have to take this burden on. We have since gotten information that this is one of those unfunded state mandates. The state would like to think that districts have funding to pay for this, and many districts do, but there are some that do not. And so tonight, because we are in a different or better financial picture, we do have a little bit of income above our required fund balance. And so we would request, or I think for discussion, is the request to take the $16,000 to reimburse teachers or other employees, faculty and staff, for their background checks.
Okay, since this is coming from the fund balance, we'll need a motion on this. Before we do that, is there any other questions you've got?
Yeah, how far are we in reimbursing them back just this year?
So we have not reimbursed anyone because in March, when I brought this before the board that we were out of compliance, the board elected for employees to pay. And so about a week later, we shut down for COVID. And so we just now got back to this along about October that this needed to be done. And so all employees have paid for this, but we've encouraged them to keep their receipt. And then we'll reimburse them.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, it's in order. I'd like to make a motion that we take the approximately $16,000 from our fund balance to pay for the employee background checks.
Second.
Is there a second? All right.
Yes.
Got a second. Any discussion?
Did we vote for, did we not vote back there earlier
right.
that they pay for their own?
In March.
We voted that
We
they
did.
pay for their own.
In March of this year, the board at that time did vote that employees would pay for their own.
So now then the motion is that we rescind that and change the direction.
I think that several employees had
Yes.
approached their state representative and also several board members and made this request.
Any other discussion on the motion? All right, we're ready to vote. Mr. Upton,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss,
No.
Dr. Shootman,
Yes.
Mr. Ingram,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Ms. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Standridge,
Yes.
Ms. Cagle,
Yes.
and I say yes. Motion passes 8-1. All right, moving on to 12-10-12, Director of Schools report. Dr. McClendon.
Okay, this evening, we have several things we'd like to share. One of the first things we'd like to go through are virtual learning stipends for our professional employees. I know there's been lots of discussion concerning the extra work that has been placed on our employees because they're actually teaching 3 groups of students for every class period, meaning they have their brick and mortar students who are in the seats in the building. They have a virtual group of children that they're attending to, and then they also have quarantine children. So that gives 3 distinct groups that teachers are being required to educate. Many school districts had the funding, or they had the fund balance to pay their students, pay their teachers a monetary amount for every student that was a virtual student, because it's almost like you're working a job and then a part-time job. We fiscally are not in the same we don't have the same means as other districts, but I thought it would be nice as just an honorarium to amend our CARES Act funding, which this is allowable now that we've done everything that they've asked us to do first, and to provide this stipend or honorarium to our teachers for the extra work that they have done in educating our children.
So move. I'll move on that.
Second.
And this is a one-time payment. All right, motion second. Dr. McClendon, this is a one-time payment.
Yes, this is just a one-time payment.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All right, roll call vote. Mr. Upton?
Yes.
Mr. Weiss?
Yes.
Dr. Shipman?
Yes.
Mr. Ingram?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Freeman?
Yes.
Ms. Standridge?
Yes.
Ms. Cagle?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right, Dr. McClendon.
So then I'd like to discuss my philosophy I was raised with. My father said your cook in the kitchen and your custodian that cleans the floor are just as important to your organization as a teacher in the classroom. And so I don't like to divide our faculty and staff by giving something to one group and not to another. I think all means all. And so I would like to propose that the rest of our employees who are what we consider non-professionals would receive $100 in COVID pay as well. And someone might say, well, why? Well, right now, if you think about in the cafeteria, they're having to pack those to-go plates. And then the custodian has numerous garbage cans that they're having to pull from prior. Anytime we get COVID, there's extra work as far as them steam cleaning or misting that particular space. And so we've asked some of our non-certificated personnel to cover classrooms when teachers have been absent so that kids can have remote learning if subs are not available. So COVID has been a burden for all of the staff. And so I would like to make the request that we also compensate our non-professional employees from our fund balance also with $100 stipend.
So
I
move.
make a motion.
Okay, I got a motion.
Second.
And I got a second.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Why was this not added in? Why was this not in the first discussion we talked about right here?
Because
Different
CARES
We had to
Act
prove it,
funding, CARES Act funding cannot compensate for COVID pay in this manner.
How much is this amount for everyone else? How much? What's the total amount?
So it's $25,771. And Gail, do you remember how much it was for, or Sandra, do you remember how much it was for our professional employees?
At 41.5, we estimated around 43,000, just to be safe.
So that's both groups, professional and non-professionals?
So it's for a total 68, but you have to take it out of different budgets.
So $25,000 comes out of the CARES Act, and basically $40,000 comes out of the fund balance for everybody else's pay.
Just the opposite. The professional employees, the $43,000 comes out of our CARES Act grant or our COVID grant from the feds. And then the $25,000 would come out of the fund balance. And it's there if you look at your screen on number 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Any other discussion? I've got a motion, a second. Roll call vote. Mr. Upton?
Yes.
Mr. Weiss?
Pass.
Dr. Shipman?
Yes.
Mr. Ingram?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Ms. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Standridge,
Yes.
Ms. Cagle,
Yes.
and mine is a yes. Motion passes. Hey, excuse me. Mr. Weiss, I need to come back to you on your pass.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Motion passes 9-0. Okay, Dr. McClendon, you can continue with your report.
Okay, so this is the end. This is our last meeting of the year of 2020. And fortunately, we were able, we put our strategic plan into place last year in January, and we would like to bring before you an update of our strategic plan. It's going to be important, and I wanted us to leave out the year with this information because we'll start moving into a budget season in January, and our strategic plan will be what guides our spending and our budget. What we say is important will be what we kind of concentrate and think through on our money. And so our central office staff, different departments have prepared to present out on the new and updated information inside our strategic plan. Dr. Strickland?
Yes. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to start this out just by refreshing you on what our four main components of our strategic plan were from our last work on this last year: culture and climate, health and safety, academics, and capacity building were the four areas that our stakeholders decided were our priorities. So for revisions right now, we have focused on Sorry. Try that again. On academics and health and safety. After the meeting, we will share with you by email the full plan with all four components in it, but just for the interest of what we're focused on right now and what we felt like were our greatest needs right now, we're going to just talk about these two areas for tonight. So I'm going to start just by opening our discussion on academics, thinking about reading, writing, arithmetic, math, science, history, our focus on STEM right now, and of course, our goal to graduate young adults who are ready for their post-secondary college or careers. So there are multiple components to the academic team approach: instruction, of course, curriculum, assessment and accountability, instructional technology, which is huge right now, and college and careers. We have a great team here at our district office of people with a good variety of skill sets, expertise, experience, and we complement each other very well on what we bring to the table. This is certainly a larger team approach than just this group, but as far as who's spearheading different parts of this is our district team, and we do want to reiterate that we are always open to discussion, input, feedback, constructive criticism, compliments, any part of that. We're always looking for ways that we can get better on our side and communicate better with this information. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out if you all have any input for us. Now, the first part of this is curriculum and instruction, and Shauna Bowers is going to discuss this a little bit, what our focus has been this year on curriculum and instruction.
Good evening. As you know, several years ago, our state really changed their focus in literacy. And I guess we realized that if students can read and write, then they can be successful in other areas as well. So in 2017, the state of Tennessee adopted their new ELA, English Language Arts Standards. And this graphic right here just is a really good visual of what that represents. And obviously at the top, the student is the keystone because they're our focus. They're what holds this whole thing together. And our ultimate goal is that they be post-secondary and workforce ready. So the English Language Arts Standards are a vertical progression from kindergarten through 12th grade. And obviously foundational skills is at the bottom, and that's what holds the whole framework up, and then it involves language, reading, speaking and listening, and writing. So once we got the Tennessee State standards set, then the path to literacy success was to look at high quality instructional materials. So in 2018, the state of Tennessee started putting word out there that we were going to adopt new ELA curriculum. And in the past, textbooks have been just what they are, a textbook. However, now this is more than a resource. It's actually a whole entire curriculum. And they began, the state of Tennessee began vetting these materials back in 2018. They also started some training at the district level in 2019. And since then, we have begun developing our vision around the acronym for it is HQIM, High Quality Instructional Materials. And our vision is to plan with purpose and to utilize the adopted ELA curriculum. So that being said, we have, thankfully to everybody involved, we have these new materials. Our high quality ELA curriculum consists of, we have Big Day for Pre-K materials, and that was paid for by the state and adopted actually 2 years ago. And this year, K through 5, we have Benchmark Advance, 6 through 8 is Study Sync, and grades 9 through 12 is My Perspectives. So we have the materials, we have the vision, and now we are just working on supporting teachers and administrators, which will ultimately lead to student learning. So some things that we've done around that, if you look under the teacher support circle, teachers have worked really hard the last year and a half on developing and revising their pacing guides. We have begun collaborative learning walks with our district team and our administrators just to see trends and things that are going on in the classroom so that we'll know how to support teachers. And then we've also begun an awesome thing on our district website, which is our Teaching and Tech Toolbox resources. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Administrator support, they are part of the collaborative learning walks that we began last year. And then the state of Tennessee has begun a high quality instructional materials professional learning series. And our district team and all administrators have been invited to that. And it is one training a month beginning in October, and it will go through February. Also in January, when we come back from the winter break, we will have our first high quality session for administrators. We'll have a training for them.
Thank you, Shauna. So the next phase of this is when those high quality instructional materials meet instructional technology. So this is a twofold issue because, for one, obviously we're teaching our students to be prepared for the high-tech world they will have to function in. But because of the pandemic in March, we were forced into a virtual learning platform. So we wanted to take a few minutes to show you all some of the work that's going on in our schools, partially from your all's efforts to support the adoption of the materials, as well as the focus on technology, instructional technology, the phenomenal accomplishments of the district technology staff in the last 8 months. So our instructional technology coach, with a little bit of help, put together a video that showcases just some of our online resources.
Clever is Monroe County's single sign-on, where students and teachers can access our digital programs, textbooks, and resources all in one place with one username and password. When they log in, students and teachers are able to click on a number of programs provided by the district, as well as some programs that are free for schools. Beginning with our science adoption in 2018-19, we also provide access to digital textbooks. These digital textbooks are high-quality instructional resources for teachers. Our K-5 curriculum comes from Benchmark and includes consumable workbooks for students, as well as digital resources and tools.
Now, what do we call these letters? Diagrams. Who can raise their hand and tell me the difference between a diagram and a blend? We've been working with both this week. right, let's see. I'm going to let Titus really fast.
Diagrams have a whole new sound when they come together. You can hear both of them in blends.
Exactly. Did you hear what he just said? He said that in a blend, you hear both of the consonant sounds, but in a diagram, two or more letters come together, and they make what? Well, they make a whole new sound altogether. So,
hey, I'm a teacher at Tokyo Plains Elementary, and I just wanted to show you all some fancy tools that Benchmark has that I absolutely love. One of the things is how easy it is to navigate all the resources they have. One of the things I absolutely love is our pocket charts that are within the Benchmark program. I use it very often. Another thing that I love is the games that you can actually assign to students. Another thing that I love is all the stories ready and available to use at any time. They can read to you. You can change the speed of the reading. It's amazing.
Teachers and students in grades 6 through 8 can use their ELA digital platform, StudySync by McGraw-Hill, to access tools used for classroom instruction and by students in digital activities.
Individual, and what individual are we talking about? Right, and then an event and an idea. Those are the three things that are listed in our standards that we're going to look at, and we're going to look at how they're introduced and how they're developed. So some of those things that we looked at yesterday, the first one being, I heard a couple of gasps as we were reading, because what age did Hatshepsut get married at? 12, right? That's not normal for our culture, right? But this article does a fantastic job at taking some ideas that are kind of controversial and presenting them in a way that don't seem quite as weird, for lack of a better word. Right, because I heard that word a couple of times yesterday. And,
Hello, this is a brief overview of my RTI Tier 1 classroom intervention. It's called First Focus, and it's done during the first 15 minutes of my ELA block. During this time, students are focused on practicing standards that they need the most help with, and every student is working on something different based on what they need. To figure out what standards students need to work on, I use Edulastic because it gives me information from the county-wide assessments as well as my classroom assessments and puts it all into one place so that I can see which students need to work on which standards. Once I've figured that out, I assign students 2 practice activities. They get the choice to practice them in whichever order that they want, jump in between. Their progress is saved so they can practice them at their own speed. And one of those comes from McGraw-Hill StudySync, our curriculum textbook. They have a large library of spotlight skills so that I can assign certain students specific lessons based on what they need. iExcel is very similar. I can look at the standards and what skills correlate with those standards and then assign them to only the students who need to work on them. After students have had some time to work on these practice activities, I give them another assessment from Edulastic. And this time it's a small assessment, about 5 to 10 questions that is focused on only that standard that they've been working on. This gives me a chance to see if they are improving in that standard. So to keep track of all that information, I use a Google Sheet. It tells me for each student what standard that they're working on, the 2 activities that they're practicing and how they did on them. And then also when I gave them that second assessment, how they did, so that I can see here's where they started and here's how they've improved. Once I see that growth, I really want to share it with students and celebrate it and recognize all of their hard work. So I utilize something called a brag board. It's just a Google slide that I put up on the screen that lists the names of students who have grown working during this first focus time or who have mastered the skill that they're working on. And students get really excited to be recognized on the board for all of their hard work. All of these
high school students can access their ELA content, My Perspectives by Savas, using the EasyBridge icon in Clever.
I'm excited to demonstrate our newly adopted and implemented English language arts curriculum brought to us by Savas, which is our digital platform for for in-class instruction and online and virtual learning. First, our new curriculum has this great feature where our students will get the opportunity to have 21st century learner skills in mind, but it's going to be tailored to the needs of our classroom. So students have a physical copy of their textbook in hand, and this copy is consumable. So students can write, they can highlight, they can make notes, they can answer questions, all in their own textbooks. But in addition to this, students have an online access to their textbook. This gives them a chance to look at videos. It lets them see the concepts in ACT level questions, vocabulary, and it also gives them the opportunity to see assignments online. Our new curriculum also syncs with Google. Just like you're able to sign in on your phone, our curriculum has a single sign-on, and then it gives them a chance to connect with other students and with their teachers through their notes, answering their textbooks, and with Google Classroom. So if I go to Google Classroom through here, it's very easy for me to pull up a section for my students, and then when I go to my classwork, I can go through and pull up information from my textbook online and allow kids to take a selection test like I did here with my honors class. Everything in the curriculum is interactive. I can give them tests that are online here, but I can also go in and pull up a section of my own library where I've taken a unit for clauses. And the kids can watch videos that give them information about each one of these topics or subtopics.
Finally, on the Teacher Clever portal, teachers can find a link to a district-created resource for information and training called the Monroe County Teaching and Technology Toolbox. This website, created by our instructional coaches, is filled with valuable information and training resources. Here, teachers can find pacing guides for all subject areas and grade levels, copies of our Monday memos, where important information is shared, and guidance for teacher accountability and licensure. One of the site's main purposes, however, is to give teachers a resource for additional training on our technology platforms. The website features a list of upcoming optional training opportunities, as well as recorded training from many previous sessions that can be accessed at any time. Instructional technology training has been a major focus for us, with more than 60 technology training opportunities since the beginning of 2020. This summer, more than 100 Monroe County teachers participated in a 3-week Google course designed to introduce tools that could be used in the classroom and remotely. As a result of that training, 49 teachers across the district became Google certified educators who can help their colleagues with the Google Workspace apps. Like our students, our teachers are learning, growing, and adapting. As a district, we will continue to provide technology training opportunities and assistance to help them deliver the quality instruction our students deserve.
Okay, so you've seen some highlights of our high quality instructional materials as well as our instructional technology opportunities. And I do want to take a moment to just recognize Kelly Robinson, who is our instructional technology coach, for getting Google certified as a trainer, which is something that there are, and I think, under 40 in the state of Tennessee. So we have an amazing resource right here in Monroe County who has dedicated a lot of time and energy to making sure that our teachers have the training they need when they need it, very timely, very high quality. So kudos to Kelly. Yes. The next section is on college and career readiness, and I believe Dr. Evans is here to introduce this section.
Yes, I'm here. First of all, I just want to say that I have always believed that one's vocation should feel like a calling. So I believe that we have to start early in our schools to have our children to begin to think about where their passions are and their talents and their skills. So one of the ways that we are doing that is through some of our middle school programs where every 7th and 8th grade student throughout the district took a career assessment inventory. And that is part of our virtual job shadow program. That inventory is online. And after students took that assessment, teachers were able to go in and look at that and assign students virtual job shadowing activities with careers that students indicated an interest. So from there, we move into getting students to think about college and career readiness, post-secondary. What do you want to do with your life after high school? And some of those areas include taking, college courses while in high school. We have dual enrollment through Cleveland State. We have dual credit through TCAT. We have statewide dual credit courses, and all of those courses also help students earn early post-secondary credits that count toward ready graduate status. In addition, we also have industry certifications that students can set for. In each high school, we were able to begin 2 new programs of study, and CTE has 16 career clusters, and within each cluster is a variety of programs, and we were really proud to be able to offer 2 new programs at each high school this year. And one of the things I think is important to be aware of is when we start a new program in a high school, that has to align with what the state wants us to look for that would be a need within our area and our region, and as a high-skilled, high-paying job. So we started 2 high schools have coding programs, Sweetwater and Sequoia. All 3 of our high schools have teaching as a profession, and then Tellico Plains High School has banking and finance. And all of those programs are slated to have job shortages. And so we're excited about being able to begin those. But I think it's best if I allow you to just see the video that we put together. So hold on to your seats. This is CTE.
And we're now here in the greenhouse, and I'm standing in front of some plants here that the students have propagated.
Our greenhouse is run as a business. The students have to take place in the logistics of actually ordering and scheduling. They also have to help with the financial aspects and keep a spreadsheet for that as well. They grow all of the plants, most of them by cuttings and some by seeding.
Here in the barn, we have some of our projects. We just finished with the sheep project.
It's a really good project for the students. You can see here some of the students' pigs.
Sometimes I have visitors come in. One of them is pet therapy, and there are 2 Newfoundland dogs that come in and visit. Well, in veterinary science, we do pig dissections and field trip at least once a year to a vet clinic.
Students are given the opportunity to sit for a state board exam and obtain their certification and become a CNA.
Through this program, you can get your emergency medical responder if you pass the state exam.
Alex allows the students, he not only communicates with the students, but he allows them to obtain assessments.
We're able to check his vital signs, his breathing, his pulse, his respiration. You never know what Alex is going to say. It really helps you prepare for dealing with patients.
Yeah, look, I'm going to save you some time here. I've been sick for over 3 days, and I really don't have time to let it run its course. So this give you a prescription for a PPAP. You can both get onto their lines.
The goal is, if you take all 4 classes, is that you would be able to sit for an exam to become a personal trainer. Christian Murphy was able to pass the exam last year and is now working for Planet Fitness. We get to walk through the heart. We actually demonstrate the blood flow through the heart by putting a giant heart and all the accessory vessels, the lungs, on the floor.
When you take health science courses at Sequoia, it really prepares you for any kind of college experience that you're going to have.
The classes I took in high school and the hands-on experience at the hospital has helped me excel in nursing school.
Here we go into more framing techniques. You see right here some of the picnic tables they've done, the benches, design their own houses, and then we transfer them to an 18 by 24 inch blower. Teach them how to wire up a breaker box from the ground up.
Hi guys, here he's learning how to MIG weld. MIG weld probably does most of the factories around here. CBT, Johnson Controls. My best welders are girls. We talk about the healing process, how to temper steel. You learn how to blacksmith. You learn how hard it actually is.
Hey, my name is Mr. Williamson, and I teach the automotive courses here at Sequoia High School.
Brian Thompson inspired me to do better than I was in school and got me to where I am today. And in his class gave me everything I needed to start my career.
As far as food preparation, that's always a favorite. Food labs are a blast.
In this class, we get to play with 3D printers as well as learning about businesses. We have a couple of different 3D printers, and we do different things with them, such as building the high school itself. Right now, I have students that are building their own houses using the 3D printers, and we're building everything to scale and learning not just how to utilize these in a business type setting, but as well as other areas such as math and science.
Hi everyone, my name is Miss Graham. We do learn how to use all Microsoft Office programs here. All the computer classes help you see if that's something that you really like and enjoy. You can also become and get a teaching degree, a counseling degree. You can go into business management and actually own your own business and be an entrepreneur.
It's really helped me learn how to talk in front of people and manage and budget and do everything.
We are a business type project. And basically what we did was we started completely from scratch and created an entire business plan.
So that's just a sample of what our teachers are doing and our students, and I could not be more proud. We are working on a video for each high school to show to our 8th graders to help them as they choose their career paths for the next 4 years. So thank you.
All right, we're moving into the next phase of this, which is our strategic planning on health and safety, and Mr. Ferguson will take it from here.
Yes, good evening. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. All right, I'm going to move us through this section pretty quickly because the board has already heard presentations in October and November from Mr. Carroll, from Jackie Gray, and also from Charlie Lee. So those portions of the strategic plan have already, the groundwork has already been laid for that. This slide shows our team. That's okay. We're working remotely here. This is our team, our operations team. And like Leanne mentioned about the academics team, we are a diverse group of people, and we meet together every month and discuss all kinds of issues that impact the operations of our school system. We have 5 different sections of the strategic plan that fall under health and safety. The first of which is student safety, and we haven't really had a full presentation on this. So I am going to walk us through the objectives and strategies that we have for student safety. Some of these issues have been mentioned to you, so you'll be familiar with a few of the things. But one of the objectives has to do with communication, and one of the goals that we always have for ourselves as a school system, as a district, is to improve and expand our communication efforts with our parents and families and all our stakeholders, especially when it relates to matters of student safety and school safety. So we are going to continue to try to do a better job of getting messages out using our mass calling and texting system, which is SkyAlert, and that's a new program that's part of our Skyward system. We will continue to use social media and also traditional communication means to get messages out about student safety and school. And that would be things like weather-related closures, school delays, any kind of health information, if the clinics are offering a program or a vaccination and that sort of thing, remote meal pickups, all of that. A second objective that we have under student safety has to do with upgrading the campus surveillance systems. And this was briefly mentioned at one of the recent board meetings that we did receive the COPS grant, which is the Community Oriented Policing Services grant. And using those grant funds during the upcoming school year, the camera surveillance systems at 5 of our schools will be replaced with a fully analytic camera system. And those 5 schools are Sequoia High School, Sweetwater High School, Tellico Plains High School, Madisonville Middle, and Tellico Plains Junior High. So in the coming year, those 5 schools with grant funding will have upgraded analytic camera systems. All the remaining camera systems at our properties will also be moved into a new platform. It's called the Avigilon platform. That's a platform that will help us to have better control over the cameras and access and do a better job using the cameras that we currently have. We do have an objective or a goal to replace all of the remaining cameras in the district by the end of the 22-23 school year with these fully analytic cameras. Now, of course, that's going to take some investment and some funding and some good budgeting, but we hope to be able to accomplish that by the end of the 22-23 school year. A third objective that we have under student safety is to increase our staff members' knowledge and understanding of safety procedures, especially in the era of COVID. We have new safety procedures. We also want to train them on at-risk behaviors, things like intruder training drills, suicide prevention, child abuse reporting, safety drills for fire and weather, and then the students also providing some training for students in issues related to their health, such as, we might have a dental hygiene program. We may have a health nutrition class or an illness prevention training as needed for students. Then, next slide, Leanne. Under social emotional health and physical well-being, Jackie Gray already walked you guys through a lot of her part of the strategic plan, so I'm not going to go rehash a lot of that, but you'll remember that she has goals for expanding our health services for students, mental health counseling. They're moving into telebehavior health as well with camera systems. And then she has some goals and strategies for working to reduce childhood obesity in our county. There's another section that Jackie oversees, and that has to do specifically with the clinics. And so she has 3 objectives for the clinics in the strategic plan. And I know that Dr. Strickland mentioned this, but at the end...
Next slide, please. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. At the end of tonight's presentation, you will get an email that has all this detail in it, and you'll be able to see specifically what the goals are. But under clinics, Jackie has 3 goals: to maximize student and staff health, to enhance positive health attitudes and practices, and integration of systems. And this idea of integrating the systems is really what they want to do is they want to survey our staff out at the schools and find out what they believe additional trainings related to health and comprehensive student health what trainings or what courses do students need. And for instance, some schools may want a drug prevention program or some kind of speaker about vaping or a COVID-related lesson. And so they want to identify some training, targeted training that they can bring into the schools through their clinics to provide some comprehensive health instruction. All right, next slide. Mr. Lee came before you, I think, last month and talked about transportation and what his goals are. He has 3 objectives for transportation. One is to increase the bus driver capacity in our county. As you guys know, we've had some difficulty with making sure that 100% of our bus routes are filled with qualified drivers this year. So that is a goal that he has, is to work on making sure that we've got qualified drivers in all our routes. He also has an objective to improve the communication between the district and parents regarding any kind of change or new information about busing. So if there's a bus breakdown or there's a bus that's going to be late for some reason, he's looking at ways to improve the communication to families. He's one of the things that's in development is our web page, our school district web page. The transportation tab right now it doesn't have a whole lot of information, but we're going to be looking at how we can improve that and make it a valuable resource to parents that they can go there and find out all kinds of information, what time their child would be picked up at their house, what bus route would they ride, all that kind of information. He also wants to secure the funding to purchase a digital app program that families could have on their phones that would show in real time where the bus is. So, if a bus is late, a parent doesn't have to try to call to get through to the school. They could just see on that app that the bus is running 10 minutes late today, but, there's not a problem. So those are some objectives that he has with parent communication. And the last objective that he had was on professional development, just making sure that our bus drivers understand the value of having positive interactions with their students on a daily basis and how important that is. All right, the next slide, and this is the last section under health and safety, is capital outlay. And Philip Carroll came before you and discussed in detail what a lot of his goals are. He let you know or reminded you that when it comes time for budgeting next month, that in order to accomplish a lot of the things that we have in our strategic plan, it's going to take some funding and some budgeting. And you guys are well aware of that when you start talking about replacing HVAC systems or getting bleachers on fields or lights on fields or replacing roofs, we're talking big money. But we do have in this strategic plan some strategies to work on short-term and long-term planning. I'm hopeful that very soon we will be able to present for you to see our comprehensive maintenance plan that is going to be a document that has schedules where you can see what year certain schools will be getting a new roof or an HVAC system replacement or getting painted, all that sort of stuff. We have that almost finished for you, a comprehensive strategic plan, or comprehensive maintenance plan that'll show you our short-term and long-term goals and plans for the operations. Also, HVAC replacement and care. We want to replace all the outdated and malfunctioning HVAC systems, and that includes those in gymnasiums. So that's a pretty lofty goal, but we've got it in the strategic plan. We would also like to implement a bathroom partition replacement schedule. We have some bathrooms in our schools that are in pretty bad shape, and so Mr. Carroll has prioritized which schools are in most desperate need of replacing those bathroom partitions, and Sweetwater High School and Tellico Plains High School are the first two on his list, and he hopes to have those replaced by the end of the 21-22 school year, and then we'll have a schedule of which schools will be next. Outdoor athletic facilities. I know that the board is going to take up discussion about those outdoor bleachers in the coming months, but we have set a goal that we want to implement a bleacher repair or replacement program. Of course, that will take we will take the board's direction, the board's lead on that. We also would love to, and have it in our plan, to install lighting on all athletic fields. That would be in partnership with Fort Loudoun Electric Cooperative and another business, but that's in our plan. Then we also want to, of course, continue to replace our malfunctioning roofing systems as we can. And you guys have done a lot of work and approved a lot of roof replacements over the last few years, but there's still a lot of work to do with roofing and getting those roofs fixed. And then we have a strategy for painting our school buildings, a schedule for painting the interior and exterior surfaces of our buildings. All right, so that's all going to be in the strategic plan you'll see. And I think that's all for me right now, I think, Leanne.
All right, thank you. So we just want to take a moment to talk about some of the things we accomplished from last year's plan, because despite the fact that we are living through a pandemic and we've asked every employee to do more for less, and many people working remotely, many people doing things they're not comfortable with. So we just need a moment to say we're still getting it done, and there's a whole lot of good work going on in Monroe County schools, and we are impressed daily with the care that goes on for our students, our employees, our families, our communities. So just real quickly through the academic side of what all's been accomplished this year, 70 plus instructional technology opportunities. So just to think about that, since March, that's about 2 a week on average. And many of those happened during the summer when people were off and they volunteered their time. The trainers volunteered their time. The teachers volunteered their time. So, I mean, that's an impressive number. And we're still going. You saw on the teacher toolbox, there's 4, I think right now, optional trainings that are coming up, and those will just keep on keeping on. So, and Kelly may mention a couple things on some of these. Kelly, do you want to mention the tech leads quickly?
Yes, we have tech leads. We have teachers who have stepped up at every school to take ownership of the technology at their school. So they're kind of like our front line of defense. If there is a problem with the technology or if they have a question about the technology, then the teachers will come first to the tech leads, and that alleviates a lot of wait time where they might have to wait for a technology person from the department to come out and help them. And many of our tech leads are Google certified educators, so they can help them not with hardware only, but also with their programs.
We've continued to do professional learning communities, both virtually and in person, throughout the spring, summer, and fall, coupling teachers with subject content area colleagues and grade level colleagues. Students are learning to use computers. I know my own high schoolers are more tech savvy than I am. And my son who's in college, he does nothing on paper. So we are certainly obligated to teach our students to be prepared for that post-secondary world, and we are getting it done. Pacing guides are something that started last school year in 1920 and continue to be tweaked, and so that teachers have the map they need to get through their content, their subject areas. The formative assessment program is still a work in progress, but it's occurring now across the board, again, to help drive instruction so teachers know what needs to be retaught, what they've mastered, etc. Of course, we purchased our new ELA textbooks through a very big group effort, and we're very grateful for that. We conducted an ACT boot camp, and we'll continue to focus on ACT. We have new industry certification opportunities for students, and again, we'll continue to build on that. Mr. Ferguson, you want to mention some of these operations accomplishments now?
Sure. We, with our playgrounds, you guys know we have had the playgrounds inspected and they've been brought into compliance. We only have some minor work left to do on 3 of the playgrounds, but it's very minor. We are 99% complete on our playgrounds. Next slide. Roof replacements and repairs. Over the last 4 years, you guys have helped us replace 4 of our roofs at Monroe Middle, Madisonville Intermediate, Madisonville Primary, and Tellico Elementary. And we have continued to repair major leaks at all of our buildings, pretty much, Sequoia, Tellico, and Central Office most recently. Intercom systems, we have been able to replace 3 of the intercom systems, Madisonville Intermediate, Tellico Elementary, and Von Orr Middle. We were able to complete an HVAC replacement at the Rural Vale's gym recently. Just since the beginning of this school year, our maintenance department has completed 952 work orders.
Sorry, trigger happy.
We've had over 10,000 school clinic visits just in this school year. There have been 270 telehealth or telebehavioral health sessions this year. We have administered 302 flu vaccinations. And this one is pretty outstanding. In October and November, just in 2 months, on the remote learning days, Lisa Arden and our nutrition staff have served 141,584 remote meals. Also in school nutrition, we received 1,216 PEBT cards to help families out with the purchase of food. That was the first round, and 700 of those have been distributed by the school system to date. The second round of those cards were mailed directly to the families, and that second round had 1,169 food cards that were mailed directly to families. So we've seen a lot of pretty astounding numbers and have been able to pull off quite a bit in a short amount of time. And we're really proud. I'm really proud of the work of our operations staff and our academics committee as well, but especially of our operations staff, because that's my house, is the operation.
Guys, I know this has been long, but this is frontline good work serving our students, our families. It's hopefully been worth your time to see some of the things that are going on. We hope you will continue to support the work and come out and visit, see what's going on, and know that people are working through illness. People are working through taking care of sick family members. Learning technology on the fly, myself included. So we're proud to be a part of this team. We're proud to be a part of the good work that's going on every day, and we'll continue to go on. We don't know what January, February is going to bring with the coronavirus, but what we do know is that we'll keep showing up and we'll keep making good things happen here for our students and doing the best we can for our students and their families. Now, who has questions?
I'd like to say you will receive a document in the traditional format with the objective and the strategies. And even in the operations side, I want to give a big kudos to Trey and Philip, because I've driven them crazy, because they even have an interval maintenance plan about when do you even change the filters in the building. But as a whole, the team is sensational. I would put this team up against any team in the country, because there is great work done here every day by our employees, by our teachers, by our administrators. And as you can see, the work speaks to that.
Great job, central office and our teachers. Y'all doing an outstanding job under the circumstances. And I really appreciate it. Thank y'all very much.
Once you all get your copies of this information, if you think of anything you would like to provide feedback on, just let Trey or me or anybody else here know. Dr. McClendon, Dr. Windsor, or any of us are welcome to your input, feedback, questions, anytime. Absolutely.
Okay, very quickly, we'll flip to Jackie. Jackie will give us an update. Several people have asked about our health, where we are health-wise in our district, and so Jackie will give us an update.
Good evening, everyone. I'm afraid the news that I have is not as positive as what we've just witnessed, and I apologize for that. Since we've returned from Thanksgiving break, we've had a surge of positive cases. In the last 2 weeks, we've had 81 positive individuals. 60 of those are students and 21 are staff. With yesterday being our highest daily count, we had 20 positive cases reported yesterday. Currently, we have a total of 547 individuals that are quarantined right now. 505 of those are students and 42 staff. That's 13% of the individuals in our school that are quarantined right now. Today, I sent home 3 nurses due to illness or close contact exposure, and that is going to make it very difficult to cover some of our schools. I've been in constant contact with Teresa Harrell with our local health department, and she tells me that this is the current situation for our county as a whole. Our county, our positivity rate, for weeks and weeks, we were doing really well to keep our positivity rate below 10%. We are, as in the last 7 days, she shared with me that our positivity rate is 25.6%. So that's where we are. And I agree with several people that have already commented, we don't know what the next several months hold. But I fear that this all happened mainly after Thanksgiving. We were doing really well, and I think I've shared that with you guys. But over the next several months, I think we're just going to have to play it by ear. But that's all I have. Any questions for me?
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Gray. And last but not least, I know that we had in our strategic plan last year that we would become a 1-to-1 district in 5 years. Unfortunately, we have become a 1-to-1 district almost in 3 months. And so we have really had to dig in, and everybody has had to do their part. And so just so that you kind of are aware, Kelly will hit the highlights about our 1-to-1 rollout plan. I know you received your documents ahead of time, so she won't labor through that, but you might have questions about how this might work.
Okay, I have with me here Colin Miller, who is our interim director of technology, and he and I have worked very closely with each other and also with some surrounding districts and our consultant to make sure that what we have covers exactly what we need. And the first thing we have here is our rollout schedule. We're already down here to December 10th. We have given you copies of our procedures and our contract or agreement, and also our deployment plan, which has changed. And that you can see here in the bottom of this rollout schedule. And that is we're gonna try to expect students to turn in their paperwork and technology fee by January 8th. We're trying to rethink how we're going to get that paperwork out because we intended to send it home tomorrow, but tomorrow is a remote day. So we're going to make that available online and send out by our social media and call out how students and parents can get to that information and get to look at it before we come back for the spring semester. We are going to have a day where we have people who don't have internet can come in and ask questions and look at our online documents and fill out their paperwork. And then over the course of January 19th through February 1st, we will be putting Chromebooks into the hands of all students in 5th through 12th grades. In-person students, all in-person students. We do have our procedures outlined here, and this really hasn't changed from what we sent to you previously. There are some guidelines for returning and receiving a Chromebook. We have detailed some important ideas about how it's to be used both at school and at home, some things that they can do for sound printing and video that some things that they shouldn't do. And then we covered how they can use our network when they're at school. We do have guidelines for Chromebook care, and then procedures for what do I do if my Chromebook gets damaged. And so we have all that laid out in the procedures. We also have included here our student acceptable use of technology policy, which was voted on by the board last year. It was rewritten. It hadn't been rewritten in about 10 years, but we rewrote it last year, and it was accepted and then voted in. So some of the things that we didn't cover explicitly, like privacy, digital citizenship, copyright, and plagiarism, in our procedures are considered explicitly in this policy. And then the last thing that we will be sending home is this agreement where the student and the parent will agree that they understand the procedures, they understand the acceptable use policy, and that they are going to follow those rules and procedures. And then what we will do is, beginning in January, we will be going to schools where students have turned in their contract and paid their technology fee, and we'll be handing those Chromebooks out in as expedient a manner as we can, because our main goal is to get this technology into the hands of as many students as possible as early as we possibly can. Does anyone have questions? Okay.
All right. I want to say, before we adjourn, thank you to Ms. Sensabaugh for keeping us advised and updated on our budget, any changes and updates we've had. We appreciate that, and it really, really helps the board to kind of know what's going on. I also want to thank you to every school, Monroe County school system employee, for the work you've done above and beyond, not just in academics, but also in sanitation and making our schools safe for kids. Dr. Fossey made a statement this week, and he said that schools are the safest place a child can be. Mm-hmm. It's almost like he came to Monroe County and saw what we were doing, because I have seen what we're doing, and we're doing all we can do. And I feel like we're doing a great job, and I appreciate everybody that's worked in that area. Our next board meeting is January the 14th. Not certain where it will be. We'll try to do it at Sequoia. The governor has come out with new guidelines every month, first day of the month. November, December was rolled into one, so we didn't get any started December. And that goes on gatherings, how many can gather, also masks or anything else that needs to be. So we'll make an announcement after the first if he comes out with more guidelines. And all right, I'm fixing to adjourn the meeting.
Mr. Ridgel, if it would be you may want to adjourn, but I do have something that I would like to read as we leave. This is our last time together in 2020.
Okay.
Dear Mrs. Wheeler. Hi, Mrs. Wheeler. It's been a minute since I've written to you. Look, I've almost made it. I'm so close to graduating. I know you won't be there in person in the front row cheering me on like you said you would. But I know you'll be there in spirit. It still feels so empty without you, but I'll never forget the good times. I'll never forget all the love, support, and kindness you had shown me. You got me through my first 2 or 3 years of this place and basically saved my life time and time again. Thank you for everything, Mrs. Wheeler. I hope I'm making you proud up there, and I hope you're well. I miss you, and I love you so much. Merry Christmas up there. So, as we leave tonight, as we head into 2021, I want everyone to think about their why. And we do it all for the students. And that should be our board, our administrators, our teacher, and our faculty and staff's why. Thank you.
Right after I adjourn the meeting, I've asked Dr. Shipman to give us a seasonal prayer.
No, he said he was going to ask for it.
The meeting's adjourned. Dr. Shipman.
Thank you, John. Let's pray together. Lord Jesus, you took little children into your arms to laugh with them, to play with them, to bless them, everyone. We pray to you for our children in this Christmas season. In these troubled days, help us to make this a season of joy for them. May this be a time that they make you and your joy and your peace even more real. Watch tenderly over them, keep them safe. Grant that they may grow in health and wisdom and strength into maturity. May they turn early in their lives to you, the friend of children, the friend of us all. And we pray, Lord, for these blessings. In the name of him whose glory is sung in the highest, and while on earth peace is proclaimed in your holy name. Thank you for all you're doing. Watch over it and bless our children. This is our prayer together. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Shipman. And good night, everyone.
Good night.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, you got more water. Good.
No, I didn't hear that.